Okay, so how to graph? Here's another example of a linear equation. Okay, what would the picture look like for this guy here? So, going to start off again with y equals mx plus b. We're going to identify what the y-intercept and the slope are. Okay, so remember that the y-intercept is the b. And that's this part here, positive 3. Okay, so b is equal to 3, simple as that. Now let's find the slope. Slope is represented by m, which is equal to rise over run. Now, m is the stuff that's in front of the x. So what's in front of the x here is negative 1/4. So we can, doesn't matter whether the negative goes with the 1 or the 4. I'll just put it with the 1. Okay, we're going to get the same answer. Now we can draw a line. Okay, so let's set up your graph. I'm going to just leave a little bit of space here, just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So here's your x-axis, your y-axis, up and down. Okay. So focus on the y-intercept. This is the point where your line crosses the y-axis. Crosses at positive 3. Okay. Now let's use the slope here. The rise is negative 1, so we're going to go down 1 and then over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that we have 2 points. You can connect them. Whenever you have 2 points, you ought to be smiling because you know that you can draw your line. Okay? So, what we have there is a line that represents the equation y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3. Okay, since you're on a roll, let's look at another example. Let's see if we can graph the line y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Okay. Push pause on this video, and I truly believe that you'll be able to graph this using this setup here. Okay, so starting once again with y equals mx plus b, let's find out what the y-intercept is. Okay, b is this here, this part here. So what we see is negative 4. Okay, find the slope. Y equals rise over run, sorry, m equals rise over run. So m is the jazz that's in front of the x. It's 2/3. Okay. We're home free. Now all we need to do is just draw our line. Okay. Going to find where the line crosses the y-axis at point negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The slope is rise of 2 run of 3, so going up by 2, 1, 2. Going over by 3, 1, 2, 3. Look what we have here. We have 2 points. Again, you can draw your line. There you go. Okay. So technically, you want to label the line as y equals 2/3 x minus 4. There it is. Let's look at some instances where you have special types of lines. What I mean is parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Okay? So the question is how to know if 2 lines are parallel. So how would you know when you have 2 parallel lines? Okay. Yeah. How to know if 2 lines are what we call parallel. Meaning they run side by side and never cross. Okay. 2 parallel lines go on side by side and never intersect. Okay. These 2 lines will have the same slope. Okay, so parallel lines have the same slope. Okay. So let's prove that. So the best way to prove it is just to draw it out. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So just going to make a point here and a point here. Let's say this is my first line. Okay. Let's say there's another point here and a point here. It looks parallel, right? Now let's prove that they are indeed parallel. Okay. I'm going to find the equation for this line. It's going to be y equals something. Okay. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay. So I'm going to find the slope. Rise is 1, 2, 3. The run is 1, 2. The y-intercept is -2. Okay. Let's see if you can find the equation for this line here. Okay. Push pause on this clip. See if you can find the equation for this line here. Okay. So it's going to be something x, right? Pick the point. The rise is 1, 2, 3. The run is 1, 2. So rise is 3. The run is 2. The point where it crosses the y-axis is 1, 2, 3. So the equation for this line will be that. Okay. Notice that to say that 2 lines are parallel, they need to have the same slope. So the slope of this line is 3/2. The slope of this line is also 3/2. Therefore, these 2 guys are parallel. Cool, huh? Okay. Since we're on a roll here, let's talk a little about what we call negative reciprocal of a number. Okay. A fancy word. So, what's the negative reciprocal of 2/5? Okay. Remember, a reciprocal of a number means you flip it over. Okay, so 2/5 become 5/2. The negative reciprocal means we're going to put a negative. We're going to flip the whether it's positive or negative. So here is positive. The negative reciprocal will be negative. Okay. So what's the negative reciprocal of negative 4/3? Okay. If you're ever asked that question, let's flip the numbers upside down. This is negative, so the negative reciprocal is going to be positive. Okay. What's the negative reciprocal of 1/2? If you say it is 2/1 with a negative in front, you are correct. So this can be reduced to simply -2. Okay, one more, just to be sure. What's the negative reciprocal of -6? Okay, so remember 6 is the same as 6/1. Okay, so to flip that upside down, you're going to get 1/6. And since this is negative, that will be positive. Okay. How to know if two lines are perpendicular? What are perpendicular lines? Remember, perpendicular lines are when you have lines that intersect at 90 degrees, right? So these two lines are perpendicular. So the question is, how to know if two lines are perpendicular? Perpendicular. Okay. You will know if they're perpendicular when they're negative reciprocal of one another. Their slope, that is. Okay? So, two lines are perpendicular when their slope are negative reciprocal of one another.